So interestingly, we also have today with us Mr. Nishant Agarwal. He's the founder of Proctur, an organization which is dedicated to providing technological-based education solutions and focusing primarily on mass digitalization in education. So he's been working for about 16 years on cross-functional experience, leading various technological brands in Asia and Europe. So, Nishant, because you work, as you talked about, primarily with coaching institutions and K-12 schools,
Okay.
what shift has happened in the digital transformation for these institutions? And what is the impact that you have been able to bring about in these institutions at Procter? Over to you.
Great. Thank you, Seema and Meenu, for the invitation today. It's pleasure to be here. Good evening, all of you. So it's difficult to be last in the panel to speak because a lot has already been spoken. But anyways, I'll try to answer. Procter is basically helping educational institution to digitize their basically operational activities plus teaching as well. When I talk about educational institutions, it includes primarily coaching classes who are teaching students from K-12 segment or to the competitive exams and then government exam and then professional courses as well. On the formal segment, we cater to play schools, etc. And then colleges and universities are also part of it. Our primary focus is mainly into the informal segment, wherein we help them digitize all their practices. Uh, Talking about the change which is happening, probably as we see when we are watching videos, right, we have an option to multiply it at a 2x speed or 3x speed. So probably in EdTech, we are running at a 5x speed, I would say, especially after COVID, right? Although digitization has been happening over the last 3-4 years, the major reasons for this to happen is probably there is huge funds inflow for the large EdTech companies. Definitely a lot of government initiatives are there. Then penetration of internet and mobile is there. So all these are adding up to the digitization. But definitely COVID has brought this at a much faster pace now. When we talk about these educational institutions, we look at two aspects of it. One is the operational part, which is non-educational, like managing fees, attendance, marketing, and other operational stuff. And then second part is all educational, wherein these institutions need to manage their teaching, which is happening online right now. They need to do assessments, they need to give homeworks, they need to get assignments done. So there are two aspects of it, and we are helping them digitize both of these, right? Although before COVID, if I talk about majorly our focus was more on the operational part because although we have been offering these live teaching and other solutions, but probably it was kind of good to have thing earlier. But definitely after COVID, everything has changed to 100% online. So this has become a must-have thing for them. Right now, everything is online. And post-COVID, we feel that probably a lot of operational stuff which has become online will continue to be online, although teaching may still happen. Probably a lot of institution will again go back to the offline mode, or probably we see it to be happening more blended mode. For example, if there is a local coaching institution teaching to the nearby students having a radius of 5 kilometers, probably their radius may increase to 30-40 kilometers, wherein students are learning 3-4 days a week from home and maybe coming for a weekend out class or something like that. That's what we envision. And probably assessments and a lot of other activities will continue to happen online. The major benefits or impact of this digitization, I would say, is on the cost and basically access to the education. Because if we talk about tier 1 or 2 cities, probably 90% of the learners are having access to this informal education. But if we go in tier 3 or 4 or lower cities, probably nobody has access to these kind of facilities, right? So definitely this digitization is helping a lot in having reached to those tier 3 and 4 cities. And since in India there is lack of teachers, probably, right, and then student teacher ratio is very high, probably this digitization is helping reducing that as well. And definitely there is a lot of impact on the this affordability as well, because digitization definitely help us reduce the cost, which again could be transferred to the students in their fees and everything. So definitely there are a lot of benefits to it. And yeah, so digitization is definitely happening at a much faster pace. People are adapting to these solutions, and this will continue to happen. I would like to end this probably by saying a salute to the teachers. Basically, they have proved that they are not only the teachers, but they are very good learners as well. Because just before COVID, they were not prepared as such for this kind of situation. They didn't have the right tools. Many of them did not even have a laptop. They did not have internet connections at home, and suddenly everything stopped. They need to arrange everything and then adapt to this new way of teaching. So they have really proved it, and now they are adopting very innovative methods to teach their students. Many are recording videos, small videos, and then doing it live during the class. And so there are a lot of innovative things which are happening. They are actually creating a lot of good content for the online mode of teaching. So a lot of shift is happening, and this will continue to happen in the future. So that's all from my side for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nishant. And as you said, that there has been a shift in the way, there has been adoption of online and digitalization of education. Interestingly, we had a session of medical education vice chancellors. We had about 7 universities who had come together for a session on medical education, and it was interesting to understand how they've been imparting education online, especially in the surgical space. Or there are courses in the medical education where unless and until you've had hands-on practice,
Right.
there is no way that you can be able to deliver an online class. And they were still trying to figure out the right tools and mechanism after a year and a half to be able to deliver that education and impart their students for an MBBS and MD courses, and put down the technology. So their adoption has been there, but there are still several places and several different implementations where you need to figure out how to make that happen.
Like we have some dance classes, chess classes, yoga classes as such, our clients. So they
Right.
are like using online
So,
mode.
yeah, I mean, there has been a lot of implementation, as
Right.
all of our speakers today said, and even Raj Lakshmi and Amit talked about how they've been able to implement soft skills and particular skills for their organizations, and to identify how to manage them, and to also change according to a person's requirement. But still, I feel there is a scope of there is an immense scope of how online learning can bring about change in a variety of places where it's still not penetrated.